Designer babies. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, my spicy tacos. Carlos Chorizo here.
Daniela Sada.
Ernesto el Pastor.
And as you heard today, Pastor, we will be talking about designer babies. We all heard of them, designer babies. I got broads in Atlanta, chipping them, credit cards and skin.
So basically babies with like Gucci belts and Versace socks, right, Danny?
Mm-hmm.
Just really well-privileged children. Babies. No, but in all seriousness, we're talking about designer babies, something that I'll let Ernesto or Danny introduce because they're more knowledgeable.
So, basically, if you guys haven't heard, designer baby is like when you go in and you change things about the baby to modify it, you know, to the parents' desire or whatever. Usually, typically, it's for like if they're going to have a sickness or something, you can go in and change the DNA structure or genes or whatever so that they don't have that sickness, especially if like the parents have some kind of hereditary disease like diabetes or something like that, and they don't want if it shows that their child might be carrying that gene, then they can have the doctor go in and edit that out.
That's a designer baby. It sounds better than Michael Kors, and right? That's a good thing.
I mean, he might be able to afford that depending on what the design.
Yeah, this is a very expensive like medical procedure, right? Not procedure, but you know, medical stuff.
It's still definitely new, and there's a lot of ethical issues behind it. There's a lot of people that are for it, that are, you know, that are gung ho, let's do this. And there's a lot that are like, we should be
more cautious,
mindful.
It's like cautious. A slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because when will it become that where, say, a baby that's going to be born Down syndrome, when will it be that becomes like eradicated because of designer babies? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, they become stigmatized. Is that the word? To where they're undesirable.
Basically.
When, you know.
What Danny's talking about is basically one of the arguments for having. So as a parent, you would want to like obviously have the best for your child, which is understandable. So let's say the doctor, you know, finds that, oh well, you know, there's a blindness gene in the embryo or whatever, the baby. The parents, you know, you want your kids to have sight, but then it becomes a problem where it's like, are we saying that, you know, blindness and deafness and stuff like that is bad, or, you know, once again, it's up to the parent and stuff like that, but it just creates this ethical problem where like the blind community, the deaf community might speak out and be like, hey, there's nothing wrong, you know, you learn to live with it. As us, you know, who have sight and everything, it's easy to be like, well, I want them to experience this. Like, you don't know what it's like to be blind because you've always had sight. So you kind of, in a way, you might not want to, but you feel bad because you're like, wow, how would it feel like to be blind? But at the same time, it's like you ask a blind person, they'll be like, oh, it's great, it's in regular life, because they've never known sight, so they don't know what they're missing out on. So it's not like, you know. But on the other hand, on the other side of the coin, you know, you have people that are saying, well, because the biggest thing here is diseases. You know, that's the biggest thing. That's
the purpose of it.
And
of course,
I always say to me, science, the technology and advancement stuff can be benign. I believe it to be benign, but I also know human culture, like as humans, how we are. We can take advantage of anything. But I like to believe that initially science is benign. You know, they're not trying in here to like rule the world. They're just doing their things. But so the whole thing for designer babies is that okay, we're going to go in here and we're going to fix any disease that this child might have.
Okay.
So I think that's why there's that ethical problem where it's like, where if you're fixing diseases, but if you fix this baby because he might be blind, are you saying that's a disease? So I don't know how you guys feel, where you guys stand, if you have any input, if you haven't let you talk.
I mean, personally, I see where ethics like comes into play. I guess it's no matter what you do or who you ask, you're gonna get a different reply. and it's just like you said, a slippery slope because I guess there's no real right or wrong side because if you're modifying the genes of your baby, you think that you're doing the right thing. But if someone's already dealing with that, say like disease or deficiency, or has a child who is, then you'll find offense in that and saying, maybe they're choosing to do this because they see this as something that you can't live with when my child is living the perfect life where they are, or not perfect, but regularly.
A good life for them. For them.
And so, I mean, personally, I don't see an issue with it.
With designing.
Or like choosing to for your own child,
So you would given the opportunity, you would definitely change something.
Yeah, because like you said too, I only know my life the way that I lived it with everything that I have. So to not give my child the same
bigger picture. Another argument is with say let's say there's a big crowd that's doing this and doing this and doing this. Eventually, will it mess up evolution?
That's a good question.
It will become to where we're evolved enough to evolve ourselves to whatever we need to be, but there's still that like.
I think evolution will always play its role. We'll never see it. It's really hard to see it. Like if you were to look back hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago in our past, we don't look. There might be similarities, but there's a lot of things that are different about us. I mean, I think nature's evolution will always take place. But definitely, if we want to see quicker results, this is our way of speeding up.
Do you guys see an issue with things like blindness or any kind of bodily or mental deficiencies in babies being eradicated? Do you guys see an issue with that?
I see an issue in it and just
society
as far as that you're basically okay. I guess the extreme would be eugenics, where like you try to get the perfect race, the perfect human race. That's like very end of the spectrum, like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue that I see is like we said earlier, it's still a new thing, and maybe for the next 10, 15, 20 years, it's still going to be expensive. So what I see happening is all the people that can afford it, the richer, the upper echelon of society, are getting these, smarter, stronger, healthier, more good-looking babies, people, and the lower part of society is just
it'll create a margin.
Yeah, where like right now it's bad enough where like you see richer people live in a better lifestyle than you, and you feel a certain way about it. But it becomes a whole other thing where like there's a standard of how you have to look and what you got to be like. Can you imagine like nowadays you can one up someone that has more money than you if you study hard, if your work ethic is better than theirs, if you're smarter, if you like I can pick up a book, we can read, people can read nowadays, and that can hard work and everything, but they have a way to reach the top, But I feel like once we start modifying, because can you imagine competing with someone that has been genetically modified to just be smarter?
Yeah.
Or athletically so, like to be stronger, to be faster. Exactly. Like there's a limit.
Beautiful.
There's a limit. There's a limit to like what you can do and what you're born with. But once you're able to go in there and fix that limit, what is that going to see? Because it's already a problem, I think, where the rich get richer and the poor get poor, and it's only going to get worse when literally the standard are the rich people because they have the money to create the best.
Yeah.
That's the problem I see. But
made it sound like Mount Olympus.
I'm sorry.
I mean, but that's
what it is. Where they're gonna be like the
elite.
Yeah, they're the elites.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a clear difference. I mean, you're gonna have every now and again your Einsteins in the lower society, but you're gonna have hundreds of thousands of Einsteins that are being manufactured to be that. Well, I don't want to say manufactured, but edited to be that.
I don't know.
And I can see that being good for the race, the human race.
Yeah, that's what I.
But society, speaking to society, in a society sense, it causes like huge divide. kind of like the movies, you know, where you see
Movies,
that one show on Netflix. It's a show called 3% on Netflix where there's these kids. It's like high society and low society, and the low society has to compete to get to the high society. Only 2% of the population lives in the high society in the island, whatever. So like they take these tests or whatever. They compete, and every single round, more and more people leave until eventually I think only like 10 people of the like I think 100 people that are initially introduced to these competitions go into like something like that. It's a show, but
you think it'll end up
could be
similar? Yeah, that could be. I was thinking it could play like how you said. I feel like we could benefit, but also maybe we'll see a tilt in the scale every now and then. When you have, like I said, like a mountain or Mount Olympus of people who are just perfect in every aspect, either the people at the bottom are going to be too intimidated to even try, or they have that scale of what they have to work to be like. We have a scale now, at least. When you think of people who are in like the upper echelon, like they're up there. If you're ever in a workplace and you see someone who's just doing better, you see the guy with the suit pass by, it makes you want to try harder. You have something to work towards. And more often than not, when you're competing with someone or something or whatever, you find a way to get close. You know, you find a way to push yourself to those limits. And if you have something that's extremely high, either you'll turn away because there's no chance, or you just try even harder and break some kind of barrier that you or people in general, I'm talking about, you know, the population that wouldn't be on that Mount Olympus would be able to break a certain barrier. But also, another thing that I was thinking of that maybe even the most perfect or smartest of people probably wouldn't have, because I don't know if it's a measure of intelligence that decides this, but creativity. Because I don't know, like, how do you
quantify it?
Yeah. How do you quantify that? Like creativity, like do you have to be smart to be creative? Because it doesn't matter how like intelligent you are, how beautiful you look, and you might have everything, but if you can't tap into your creative side, then what is it? I mean, it's going to count for something to not have it, but if you don't have it at all, then maybe you're not as perfect as you look.
That's true. I mean, there's always going to be something. You're right. There's always going to be something, but I feel like, I don't know. That just sounds like doomsday, like those post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I mean, like the show you just described, pretty much.
But like I said earlier, I like to believe that science or technology is benign. So I think it's a question that we do have to ask, these ethical questions, because as long as all we're doing is, okay, well, you know, this baby looks like it's prone to some really bad disease, you know, whatever it may be. And the parents are like, we don't want our child to go through that. We're going there to fix it. We can maybe draw the line there.
Yeah.
But we should ask, if it starts becoming a thing where like, I want my son to be smarter, I want my son to be stronger. And, you know, I'm not going to tell anyone like, oh no, your child should be born however it's going to be born. You know, as a parent, you know, me thinking like I'm not a parent yet, but maybe one day I'm going to want the best for my kid, just like my parents wanted the best for us. And so, you know, it's kind of hard to like just be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be allowed to do this. Yeah. You know, so I don't know.
Because I mean, this is just going to become another one of those political things eventually. That's going to be, is the government going to get involved? The government not?
I mean, I think they'll have to. Yeah, I think they'll
regulate.
have to, and but definitely regulate, because once again, worst case scenario is that all the rich people, all the people that have money.
This kind of reminds me of the whole school scandal where like the rich people were paying for kids to get into schools.
Basically, exactly. Like, how do you beat that?
What if they subsidized it? Or they broke it down so that everyone could.
I mean, that would be. I think that's the goal. Like, if it could be for everyone, whereas like we're pushing humanity forward towards better humanity, taking over evolution and being like, okay, we want smarter, stronger, faster. As long as it's for everyone, if everyone has that option, like you said, like maybe the government pays for it, like, okay, you know what, like some kind of healthcare benefit, some kind of healthcare thing, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, you get this checkup, you see that your child might have this gene or whatever, and you can do whatever you want, and the government pays for it technically because you're paying your taxes.
You know what I was thinking of? You guys know like the FIFA games or the basketball games and stuff on the PlayStation,
Yeah.
where it's like you get the stats, you get a certain number of points.
Yeah. The Sims is the
or
same.
like The
used to do
Sims.
the same thing where like you had the 10 bars and you had to like select.
Exactly, which one? So basically, let's say, all right, when a man and a woman come together, decide to have a baby now, they have no felonies and they've been model citizens, and they come together, they join their points
They get
together,
more points.
and they
You
go,
only get 10.
oh, your child's going to come
gotta
out with
choose.
a small penis or something. And you can modify that. And it's like, together you guys have 3 points, so you guys
What
can
do you
choose
want?
how many inches. Something
Oh,
like
God.
that, then I could see that.
That would be pretty
Imagine growing up though, that the little kids gonna grow up and be like, my mom could only afford me a 6-inch dick. Mom, come on. Well, you know, I don't know.
Come on.
My mom was a drug dealer, man. She had no points. I ain't got no dick.
No, I mean, thinking about that, like I could see a point in this where even grown people like us, they could probably do something. I mean, they have like cyborgs and androids and stuff like that, but I mean, you never know. Maybe they'll have some kind of upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
But that just a thought of that designer babies and everything. It's
like you said, it's going to become one of those PC, like politically correct kind of things. It's going to be very political, but it's just, I don't know. The way I see it is the love that you have for your child isn't measured by how they perform in life, but like, that doesn't mean that you get to choose what other people get to do with their offspring.
exactly. And I think it comes out to that, like, it sucks. It would suck, like, my kid might have autism or something. I don't want them to have that. And all the autism community is going to rise up and be like, how dare you? But it's like, it's your child.
It's very, very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with
This
what
is
you're
like-
saying with the whole, you should love your child no matter what, and like, at the end of the day, it's the parent's decision. But, so if I'm having a kid, and someone else chose to genetically modify their kid, I'm not judging them for that, but then now my kid's not going to
be able to
compete with that baby. So it kind of does
Well, that's the thing is, like,
affect them.
did you have that choice? If you made that choice not to modify your kid, then you
In the
decide.
world where we're all in the same, if it's all, like say it's in a medical benefit, if we can all afford it. If we can't afford it, then it's very complex.
If you don't have the choice, then yes, I can see why that's a
It's
problem.
unfair.
But as not said, if everyone has here's another question. In that world where everyone can do it, like, what do you guys think of, like, a superior human race? Would you be in favor of that? Well, like, what if, next year, they announce, like, okay, from here on, we're gonna be modifying every child that comes to the hospital, whatever. They're gonna be faster. They're gonna be stronger. They're gonna be better looking. They're gonna
have 10-inch cocks.
the biggest. America's ass. Everything, Would you guys go for it?
Like every child.
Because I think
we're the exception. Because we already
you never know. Science might find a way, but it might be more robotic for
Science
us.
always.
Science always. But I think like this. I feel that's just an inevitability. We're gonna have, especially with space travel and everything. We're gonna need to modify. We're gonna have to push evolution ourselves.
For space.
So even not even space, because we know more about space than we do the ocean, the bottom of the ocean. So if you could genetically modify a human body to withstand higher pressures or whatever, I don't know what this, because it's still relatively new. It's not like something that, I mean, they're just not starting to talk about it in mainstream media and stuff, but it's not like they're just rolling this thing out,
Yeah.
So this is still new. We might not be talking about this like in a serious conversation. Like, are you going to genetically modify your child for another 10 years or so? But I think that's just where we're heading. Where I can see a world where humanity, and they can become a conflict. You have your humans, your genetically modified humans that are faster, stronger, whatever. You have your humans that have robotics. We already see, like, not robotics, but like robotic limbs and stuff. We already see the people like that are disabled or whatever that have the prosthetics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just multiply that by 1,000,
Mhm.
you know, and you're gonna have humans like that, and you're also gonna have humans who transfer their brain into cyborgs or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, I literally
The
maybe
future's
not for
scary,
another,
y'all.
maybe not for another 100 years or so,
Scary.
but I can see that being our future. And right now, like I said, since it's something new, we feel like, well, there's nothing wrong with the humans that we are now, but I don't think we can even imagine what humanity,
We'll be
if we
like in the
survive, we don't
future.
wipe each other out,
Global warming.
what it's gonna be like. And at times it's scary, but at times it's fascinating, and it's, I don't know, it really, it to me it raises the question of like, if you could live forever, would you? And I would want to say yes, just so I can
Just to see it.
just so I can see it.
Pero si crees en Dios, puedes verlo del cielo.
We ain't gonna get on that.
If you dream it, you can achieve it. If you achieve it, you can modify your child. No, but I mean, it's bound to happen eventually. It's gonna have to happen. That whole thing, it has to. And if it doesn't, it's still gonna happen somewhere in the lab with some Professor X type guy who's gonna like take over the world.
Oh God. What do you guys think? Is this setting? How do you guys feel?
I mean, I feel like it's like you said, and we're gonna head there somehow at some point in time in the future. There will be a superior. We will be a way smarter, more advanced. We'll have like some human robot hybrids and just some super intelligent, athletic, beautiful humans and stuff that we just, I don't know, we just can't really fathom what it'll be like in the future. But I don't think it'll be this, you know.
Yeah.
It won't be like three, you know, like we're not that handsome. We're not, except for Danny. so
Now you're a designer, baby.
it'll just be like some guy like, yeah, man, we're here today. Welcome to SpicyTalkos. You know. What you think, Danny?
It's just not. It's unstoppable. Science will find a way. All that jazz. It's just one of those things you just gotta keep an eye on. I think.
Yeah.
See where it heads.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they figure out the ethical side of this, you know, and if they figure it out, or if it'll be one of those things where they just don't even give us a choice. They're like, this is gonna happen. It's gonna be for the rich. So fuck you guys.
I mean, even in history, when you learn that like the royal families were inbreeding to keep royalty in line. There's been you know studies showing that a lot of the poorer people died out, and we have genes from these royal families that lived. So maybe that's what's gonna happen. All the rich people, like there will be a time where all the poor people are like, "Oh, that's fucked up. All these babies are genetically modified, and they're better than us." But eventually, they'll be wiped out, and the rich people.
But see, then that begs the question: like, is that really that bad? Because what are we? Okay, when we innovate, right? What are we working for? Like, you've heard the question asked, like, why are you working so hard for your children, right? Why are you making sure that you're stable and that you have more than what you need in this lifetime for the generation that's coming? So if they do make like these beautiful, perfect creatures, humans, aliens, I'm kind of retarded. But if they do make like this superior race of humans, they're just way better than us three, right? Then that's kind of a good thing, because that means that the human race pushes forward. We, as normal plebeians, will be like extinguished at some point and replaced by these.
It just becomes a normality.
Yeah, it becomes a normal thing, and while we might suffer, and maybe our children might suffer, the human race lives on and will be better off than it is now. Hopefully. The way I like to think about it is that, yeah, you might get some people that are like on the bad end, like, yeah, we're going to take over the entire universe. And then you have the good people who are, all, you know, there's always going to be good and bad. And the good people are like, we're going to stop those guys because they're bad. And it's like, just, I don't know. We're working for a better tomorrow. And even if we suffer because of that and we aren't going to be able to see it, and maybe it's not
for the human race.
I don't know. I still think that it's like people still suffer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I see what you're saying. Like, we get to that point.
Yeah.
it's gonna happen and people get left behind, but like that transition, there's gonna be people suffering, and
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know at what point is it worth it.
Where's the line drawn?
Yeah, I don't justify them doing it in the 1800s or in the medieval times where they were just like, we're rich, we have money, we're royalty. It's not justifiable, but at the same time, that was a different class of, I think, of humans and stuff, of people that had that. Like nowadays, I like to think that even people in power, political power, they have some kind of conscience, unlike way back in the day. So I would like to believe that that's not the course of action that we take. Well, we are trying to push the human race forward, but we're not intentionally leaving.
Well, what about Hitler though? Because that was his thing. He was trying to push the human race to be purified or whatever.
Wait. I see where you're going, but I think that's all the time we have right now.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you guys think. Like, if you've heard about designer babies, let us know where you heard about it. And if you haven't, look into it a little bit and let us know what you guys think about it, where you stand, or any questions that you might have. We may not have the answers to, but still would like to. Still might like to know.
And definitely stay tuned to the channel because we are going to continue this conversation in another episode. And you might be interested in hearing what we had to say about that and how all that connects. And if you are, then go ahead and subscribe, like, share this with your friends if you enjoyed it, even if you didn't, so they can see how trash it is. And leave a comment below.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we head out?
Just
all right.
but see you next time.
Well, thank you guys so much. See you guys next time.